What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and today let's continue with another round of the Chicane Online Racing League. We are now at Marina-based street circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix, and first of all I would like to apologize for the lack of content on the channel besides the live streams, but I've had a flu that now is turned into a slight cold, so sorry for any messing around with my voice during this video, as we are now preparing for our flying lap. We are now up through the gears, preparing for the big braking zone of turn 1. We clipped the apex, we actually cut the corner, which is allowed since we have the regular corner cutting settings, and we are now losing the back end at the exit of turn 3, a very frustrating corner for me, as we are now approaching turn 5, I believe this is, and exit is very crucial as we are now going up through the gears. A big opportunity for the car to finally stretch its legs, and we were pushing very hard, going faster by a tenth on the provisorily pole lap, but we were too fast and actually run out of track there. Fortunately didn't get the race the lap time invalidated, as we are now coming out of this corner with very good speed. We managed to improve on our previous lap time as we now go to the recently modified Singapore Sling. I used to like it more when it was a triple chicane, but yeah, we did it decently, improving on our lap time. We lose the back end and the braking as we approach the hairpin, and that's not optimal for sure, as we are now letting the car stretch its legs once again, even though for a short period of time, as we are under heavy braking once again for this right-hander as we enter the street circuit section of this track once again. We are getting some corner cuts there, and we are now approaching a very iconic section on the track, as the racetrack actually goes right below the grandstands, and it's quite a spectacular shot from there, as we are now using the curbs to make our car spin, but a little bit too much input on the throttle, as we are now committed very high speed through the last corner and cross over the line as we lose the back end, and the only miss pole by 4 thousandths of a second, at least according to the provisory pole, and that was a real shame. We might have got him if we didn't lose the back end. But now moving on to the results, we actually missed the by 5. It says there that is 5 tenths for some reason, but both cars behind us are on super soft, so this will make for an interesting Grand Prix. It's race time at the Marina Bay for round 15 of the season, and the championship protagonists are set on the second row, eager to win tonight. But we shall see who comes out on top, as Ruben, who nearly missed pole position by just some thousandths of a second, may still have a word to say this afternoon. Situated just 141 kilometers off the equator, this approximately 5-kilometer circuit is an incredible test for the drivers as they try to fight their cars through the bumps and the barriers of this 23-corner circuit, which take us twice over the bay to complete a lap of this unique racetrack. As you can see, the sun is setting down and soon we will have lights flooding the circuit, so great conditions for what should be a great race. As we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Singapore Grand Prix as Chisel gets a good start. Looks like he's getting away from us, but Omar also with a good start. He's side by side with Juno, and Juno looks like he has the outside line, which turns into the inside line. I'm sorry, that was actually talking about Omar, and Omar gets the inside line, but not a good exit, so looks like Juno is getting the upper end this time around. Let's see at the exit of turn number 4. Omar is still side by side with Juno, but looks like Juno got a better exit. Meanwhile, Shizel got a better exit than us out of turn 4, and is actually pulling off to 7 tenths of a second already, even though Juno got already over 1 second behind us due to all his battling. So looks like things have calmed down for now, as Juno got 3rd place. As we are now jumping onto the end of lap 2, and Shizel is just driving away. Look at this, he's almost 2 seconds away from us, even though we are managing to hold our place to Juno. He's still over 1 second away from us. We are now jumping onto the end of lap 4, and I believe we have a virtual safety car at the moment for some reason, and that will probably I don't think many changes will occur at the moment, and I don't think anyone is going to pit at this moment. but soon the super softs are starting to impose their advantage on the ultra soft runners, and at the end of on the middle sector actually of lap 7, Juno is actually caught up with us, also Omer, and let's see how quick he is. He's 3/10 behind us. Shizzle has normalized himself at just over 2 seconds away from us, so we are starting to settle into our own pace. Everyone looks like Juno is faster than us due to his freshness of tires, and he's going to come down the inside just under the grandstands. We need to give him space, but we tapped the barriers, and at this point there was just no point in battling with our teammate, since we just had structural damage to our front wing, and we nearly lose the back end coming out of that chicane, as we are now losing 2 places in just a couple of corners to drop down to P4 as we begin lap 8. We may try to follow him. Let's see what we can do, even though our tires are starting to hit the 50% of tire wear. At least the rear ones are starting to show signs of wear, and let's see what we can do. Looks like Homer went very wide, at least on the entry of that corner, so that might have cost him a few tenths to Juno in front. But once we approach the end of the first sector, there's actually nothing we can do, even though we had DRS, and Omer is sitting just 7/10 in front of us, as Alex is 16 seconds behind us. So I don't know what exactly happened with him, but looks like he's something happened behind us, because we are in the top 4 and we are running away with it, as we are now at the end of lap 8. We are still struggling with our tires, and that shows off quite well our situation, as we just crashed onto the barriers, a red front wing, as we have a virtual safety car. So a good place for us to stop. A Sizzle, I believe, also stopped, so we were going to stop anyways, and we need to just change our front wing, which is unfortunate and is going to cost us a little bit more time. Shizzle has already been serviced by their team in this out on a set of the soft tires. We are going out on the set of the super softs, so I believe we are going to make another stop after this one, and we are coming out of the pits at the end of lap 8 with 6th place. Looks like if anyone overtakes us, looks like Bandicoot, no, it was actually Joe overtaking us for 6th place, but looks like he gave back the position to us. I don't know what happens there, but that slowed down massively, because for some reason Joe just stopped on the track, and we were very close to get a penalty because of that. I don't know why he did such a thing. He just literally stopped on the track for some reason. But that slowed us down massively, and yeah, that's going to seriously compromise our race strategy, as we are going to skip onto the end of the safety car period. We are now on the restarts at the end of lap 9, and Joe M91 is squirming out of the last corner, so not the best condition on his tires, I believe. I also believe he started on the soft tires, is up onto P6. Bandicoot has caught up to us, so I need to make a move on Joe as quickly as possible to try to get our race along, despite getting massively held up by him, by that stoppage time of him, which he did for some reason. We are now having DRS, we have a run on him, is slightly lagging all over the place, but I believe we are going to outbrake him. No, we are actually not, but somehow he lagged onto our inside and we are actually able to make the move. Ash Bandicoot also taking an opportunistic move to go down the inside and actually take P7 himself, as Shizzle, the pole sitter, is now retiring from the race. I believe he crashed out right after the Singapore Sling, and he is retiring from the race. He is out, and we are promoted to P5 right behind Frozen Luffy, who looks like he's somewhat like 5, maybe 6 seconds in front of us. We are now jumping to the end of lap 11, and we managed to pull away from Bandicoot, but I also don't know. Yeah, we are still 5 seconds behind Frozen Luffy. I don't know how quickly we are going to catch up to him, if we are going to catch up to him at all. And you can see the leaders are coming into the pit, so their stint on the super softs has ended, and I'm going to come out of the first corner, just right in front of Juno. So that is not optimal, as we lost basically a full pit stop. He's going to get fresher tires, even though they are soft, they are going to be fresher tires. And he's going to catch up to me in no time. As you can see, he's filling up our mirrors quite a bit, as we got massively held up by Frozen Luffy. We're just trying to find a way past the Haas driver, but we just couldn't find a way. I guess that's the perks of not having traction control, I guess. But nevertheless, he pulled away a little bit after that corner, under braking on the hairpin. Let's see who gets the better exit. Looks like Juno with a late apex, or at least a longer turning time, but still not enough to get a good run on me, as we are now approaching the end of, the beginning of the third sector. And Frozen Luffy looks like he made a mistake, so we are going to close up on him, but still not enough to try a maneuver. And he's still holding up to P2. We are still getting massively held up, and probably our teammate, as you can see on the minimap, is like 3 to 4 seconds right behind us, but at this pace he might actually catch up to us, as we are now ending the lap 15, and the gap is less than 1 second through everyone in this 3-car battle, as Juno is probably going to have a look at us, but he backed off from it, as Homer gets the fastest lap of the race. So he's definitely closing in on us. We lose the back end, so not the best of tractions. We are in rich mix. We are doing everything we can to make sure we try to catch up to Frozen Luffy. We hit the wall right there, which is not optimal, even though we have the DRS, the rich mix, and the slipstream off of Frozen Luffy, and that saved us from a possible overtaking from Juno. And we are going on the inside of Frozen Luffy on the exit, as he went too wide. Juno goes inside, but looks like he gets blocked, and Frozen Luffy just naturally, as the racing line, covers me off very well. And Juno does the switch back on us. I try to pinch him onto the wall just a little bit to make sure he doesn't get the optimal run onto the next corner. I lose the back end, and now I have to go very slow through the next corner just to not cut it, and that cost us a few tenths. Juno actually hit our behind as we approach the braking zone of the hairpin, and this is going to cost us some tenths. It's probably 1 second between me and Frozen Luffy. Yes, 1.2 seconds, but we are going to catch up to him very quickly, I believe, as he has very worn, super soft tires. And Homer is actually catching up to us. In some corners we can already see him in our mirrors, and on the minimap is definitely much closer to us. So we are still, as you can see, how long we have been held up by Frozen Luffy. We just cannot get a look past him to save our lives. Now we get massive understeer out of that chicane through the last lap. Let's see how the gap is. Maybe we have DRS, we have indeed, but Juno is closer to us, so he might benefit from the DRS. No, he does not. I mean, benefit from the slipstream, but that's okay. Now we have Frozen Luffy coming up to Speed Killer, and I believe Frozen Luffy is actually going to get DRS out of the disconnected Toro Rosso. Let's wait and see as we hit the wall. And Frozen Luffy, I believe he's pulling away, even though we hit the wall. I believe he still has that advantage of the DRS, as we nearly couldn't spot our braking zone because we were driving right through a ghosted Toro Rosso there of Speed Killer, who has disconnected the race or from the lobby. And we are now with Juno getting a good run at us. Maybe he could try the same look he did a few laps ago, but this time he retracted from it, as we are still trying to find something, some place where Frozen Luffy makes a mistake so we can capitalize on it, because I'm honestly sick and tired of being held behind this Haas car. I just want to get right past him so I can get maybe some distance if the other cars get stuck behind him as well. So let's see how it goes in the next lap, as there are not many overtaking zones down this last sector, as it is very narrow, as we are once again below the grandstands. It's just such a unique place to drive on a racetrack. and we are approaching this last chicane. Let's see about our back ends. Looks like it stayed grippy enough for us to get a good exit. Now committing off throttle, now up to full throttle. We have DRS, we have the slipstream, we have the rich mix. Might this be the time for us to pull something, and we actually pull a move on Frozen Luffy, but he actually gives up on the move, so he holds me up massively, gets Juno to catch up to me, and once I overtook him, he just lets everyone go past, which is awesome. But nevertheless, I now won't be having DRS, and Juno will have DRS, but he has the soft tires. I don't know what engine mode he is on, but nevertheless the gap is still 1/10 of a second, as we are now jumped to lap 21, and it's getting very close to our pit window, I believe, as we are definitely still with another pit stop to do for a set of the ultra softs, or at least I believe so. But we are now witnessing on our mirrors a battle between Homer and Juno. Looks like Homer got the upper end, maybe Juno got a better exit, but still not enough to get back on Homer. And Homer might get something done here with DRS, even though we are on rich mix, he has DRS, so there's basically no way we can resist to his attack if he decides to go for it. Looks like he went very conservative. I don't know what engine mode he is on, but him going on the outside opens a window of opportunity for Juno, and he now has to look for a possible switchback attempt. As you can see, Homer is going on my inside. Maybe he get a better run, looks like not, but Juno is slipstreaming of me, so they are going side by side through the Singapore sling. Even though Homer has the inside line and manages to cover him off, they're still quite dangerous, as Homer looks like he's quite impatient to overtake me. We lose the back end. Now Homer might try something on the inside. We are trying not to bang wheels, but exactly that made Homer slow down, and now Juno is side by side with Homer, as looks like Juno got the top end speed at that straight. And Juno looks like he got the inside line. Homer looks like he may have hit the barriers a little bit, so it's P2 for Juno once again, and he's most definitely looking to have some pressure upon me, as we are just holding on as much as we can. So maybe hold up as much as you can, so make them waste fuel, make them waste rubber, so that we come home for our pit stop. We might actually try to move to do something once we get on the ultra softs, as we are now beginning lap 23. It looks like it's still not our pit stop window for some reason. I'm really not sure how long these tires go on around this track, as it's been a long time since I've done this race. As Alex moves on to get the fastest lap of the race so far, we get very understeery as we broke and then we do not turn enough. It looks like Juno is actually going to go side by side with us, and has now pulled off an overtaking maneuver. Who has DRS. We are going on his inside maybe to pull off something. Looks like we cannot, and at this point I'm not sure what we are going to do. Maybe we are going to let Homer pass, because they are the ones battling for the lead. I was just trying to hold on to these two, try to see if I could get something done once I pitted for the ultra softs. But let's see what we do after the Singapore sling, as there's not really much places to get someone past safely, but looks like we just did let Homer go by. He's much quicker than us, has much more better tires. He has just a faster car at the moment, and we are now going at the end of lap 24 into the pits, nearly breaking the limit for the entry speed on the pit lane, but we got there. And we are now coming home to change for our ultra soft tires. As now let's see if we get overtaken by any other cars. It looks like Frozen Luffy has come by us and is going to pull quite a gap after we come onto out of the pits. So it's like 10 seconds ahead of us or something like that, as you are now at the end of lap 25. We are just trying to catch those guys. Let's see what the gap is. It's 8.9 seconds. So we have some work to do if we even want to get onto P4. At the end of lap 27, we are still nowhere close, Frozen Luffy, and the gap is 6.4. So we are definitely closing up on him. what is left to see is if we are going to have enough to catch up to him, and we just were pushing too hard and just got a time penalty for corner cutting, as we are now approaching the end of the last lap, as Omer is actually our race winner today. Looks like he actually made a move work on Juno and is actually getting his win at the Singapore Grand Prix. Looks like both Forcindes come home second and third. Frozen Loop is going to come home fourth if no penalties are into play, and we are going to come home at P5. So jumping on to the results, Omer came home first, Alex actually came home second, then Juno, then Frozen Luffy, Ruben, then Bandicoot, Calipos, Joe M91, Rogue and Cuckoo completing the top 10. As we are now taking a look of the Drivers' Championship, it is Omer currently holding the lead of the championship, 17 points in front of Juno. Then we have Ruben in third with 37 points behind, so just 20 behind Juno. Then we have both Ferraris closed by just 1 point off of each other, so a very tight battle there for 4th and 5th. Then we have Bandicoot just 5 points behind Chisel, so it's actually very close, and he's actually tied with El Nabo, the only point scorer for the Mercedes. Then we have Alex in 8th, Speedkiller in 9th with 80 points, and Frozen Luffy completing the top 10 is 63. Then we have a very big gap to Rogue, who is 11th with 36 points, Shady right behind him, 2 points behind on the Toro Rosso. Then we have Joe M91 on the Williams. Then we have Calipos on the Renault with only 14 points scored to date. Then we have Foreseeable in the McLaren. Cuckoo in the Sauber is the last of the point scorers. Then we have Binding in 17th place, Dugolshing 18th, Maple 19th, Fernando, Universal, and that's it for all the current drivers. The last 5 cars have not scored a point just yet, so let's hope they do somewhere in the future. So this was it for the Singapore Grand Prix. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more. If you didn't, the dislike button is right besides the like button, so you can use it as you please. I hope to see you guys in the next Grand Prix, which I believe is at the Temple of Speed Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Hope to see you guys there, and have a wonderful day.